evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, September 21st, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The Minister of Justice has ordered an administrative investigation to clarify the property situation at Gjiri, Lalzit, where Omnic's company would have invested $450 million. A day after the Lebanese businessman left Albania because of the violence used against him and the threats to stop investing in this area, the Minister of Justice ordered information to be gathered from the archive of the properties agency. The minister's order also includes an inspection to clarify the Durrës Court's decision, which recognizes another person as the owner of the property. After the minister's order, the Judicial Inspection Department at the Ministry of Justice has committed to the issue. All dependent institutions of the ministry will verify how the property was returned to the current owner. The ministry says that the conclusions of the administrative investigation will be made public after all legal procedures. The minister's order is in response to the attack of the Lebanese businessman who was beaten severely with a baseball bat just a few days ago. Yesterday, he and his family left Albania and announced their withdrawal from the investment. Police have arrested one suspect so far and 2 others are wanted. The motive of the attack is believed to be the ownership of the investment property in Gjiri, Lalzit area. From Shkodra, Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta commented today on the attack against the Lebanese businessman, the waste law, and the cannabis problem in Albania. Fadi Mitri, who represents the Lebanese company Omnic's Albania, withdrew its $450 million investment at Gjiri, Lalzit after being attacked on September 10th. The Assembly Speaker asked that the responsible parties behind this attack be found and held responsible. I hope that this is the last case in which a foreign investor is attacked. I want to reiterate the importance of those who attacked him being held responsible. Greater efforts are needed to create a positive business climate, to increase trust and increase physical and legal security for local and foreign investors. It is important that the economy develops and employment increases, Meta declared. The Assembly Speaker also commented on the Socialist Movement for Integration's amendment for the law on waste importing, which he feels resolves the civil society's concern. The civil society's concern is related to dangerous wastes. The civil society thinks the legal initiative can bring dangerous waste that can harm our country. In this regard, I think that the amendment is suitable to provide a solution to several issues and will provide employment to people in the recycling industry, the Assembly Speaker said. Regarding the cultivation of cannabis in Albania, Mr. Meta declared that the prosecution, along with the state police, should also play a greater role. When asked about the opportunity to be elected as president of the country, Mr. Meta responded that he is currently focused on the Assembly Speaker's office. The opposition abandoned the ad hoc commission on the judicial reform. The majority continued alone with adopting the organic laws of the constitutional package. A day after meeting with the EU and US ambassadors, the chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration Parliamentary Group, Vasili, gave assurance that the Socialist Movement for Integration will be in favor of the organic laws that will be discussed on the 29th plenary session. Mr. Vasili declared that work for the laws will continue regardless of the opposition's stance. Yesterday, I held a meeting with the US and EU ambassadors. The judicial reform was the main subject of discussion. I think adopting the 7 implementation laws for the judicial reform will be a very important moment. I reconfirmed the SMI parliamentary group's will to support adopting the package of laws without any hesitation. On behalf of the SMI's parliamentary group, I emphasized that a constructive spirit should continue to prevail. We are unmoved in our opinion that the judicial reform is a major reform that the citizens want, declared Mr. Vasili. The chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration Parliamentary Group publicized an amendment of the law on waste importation, which would give civil society a monitoring role at the customs points. The SMI's amendment offers transparency to end distrust. The civil society should be present in the waste processes. In this way, civil society will implement the laws correctly, declared Mr. Vasili, adding that the SMI's amendment for waste comes after recent debates over the waste law. The proposal was supported by the chairman of the Parliamentary Commission of Productive Activity and by the Assembly Speaker. The Democratic Party is expected to ask the Assembly to establish 2 inquiry commissions, one to investigate the transfer of Armo Company to IRTC Company, and the other for the university admissions process. During a closed-door meetings of the Democratic Party parliamentary group, the DP chairman criticized the Democrat MPs for abandoning last week's plenary session, telling them that they should face the government in Parliament holding the same stance as a group. Speaking of the drafting of the judicial system's governing bodies and disagreements over the law on the judicial system's governing bodies, the DP chairman declared that the majority has violated the July 21st agreement, returning the process to point zero. According to the DP chairman, the majority aims to have control over the justice system through the laws of the judicial reforms package. It is learned that the Democrat members will not participate at the ad hoc commission's meetings until their amendments have been reviewed. The Democratic Party chairman also commented on the waste importation law, considering it to be a purely criminal and mafia scheme. Some Aura News sources within the Democratic Party said that the former prime minister has asked to establish an inquiry commission for the Armo Company and for the university admissions process. The DP chairman declared that the experts are working to draft a request for this issue, which will be sent to Parliament. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ditmir Bushati, is attending the UN's General Assembly in New York, where he declared that Albania has taken concrete steps in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism, citing inclusion of religion in schools as one of the additional actions. To prove this commitment, the meeting Combating Radicalization and Violent Extremism Through Education was initiated by Albania in cooperation with the United States, the Vatican, Jordan, Morocco, and UNESCO. Albania's role in the fight against violent extremism and radicalism is already known, not just in terms of legislative and institutional changes, but above all in the work we are doing to renew the school curricula, especially the inclusion of religious studies, declared the foreign minister. Minister Bushati focused on the challenges and the results achieved in the fight against this phenomenon, as well as on Albania's commitment in global efforts to counter violent extremism and radicalization. There have been almost 0 foreign fighters from Albania this year. Although the global coalition against the so-called Islamic State has made progress, Albania, like the rest of the region, is now faced with the challenges of those returning from the fighting zones, Minister Bushati said. The participants expressed the importance of continuing coordinated efforts in the design and implementation of special strategic, social, political, legal, educational, and economic packages, which have proved to be successful in combating the phenomenon. The Prosecution of Serious Crimes has appointed a group of technical experts from the civil aviation and the institution that controls planes to investigate the plane that crashed a few days ago in the Durrës area. The experts will determine whether the plane had a defect in the engine, as the pilot claimed, or whether it landed because of difficulties the pilot had during departure, as the investigators think. Also, the Prosecution of Serious Crimes has asked for information about the exact departure place and time. There are suspicions that the plane could have landed about 2 or 3 in the morning, but according to the state police statement, the plane crashed at 8:45. Recovering these parts of missing information will shed more light on what has happened. Though the 69-year-old Italian pilot stands accused of violating flying rules and of illegal border crossing, he is not being detained while being investigated due to his older age. The Italian embassy's representatives have asked the Prosecution of Serious Crimes about the investigation's progress and the Italian pilot. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.